The Baltimore Ravens opened the 2025 season with a 1-5 record, but a lot has changed since then for Lamar Jackson and the Ravens. They have won their last 5 games, and currently they are 6-5 on the season. Now, it's important to bring this up, just some house cleaning here. They have the same exact record as the Steelers. But the reason why the Ravens are in first place, they defeated the Cleveland Browns not once, but twice in the AFC North division. Those are the only division games up to this point that the Ravens have played in. The Steelers, they have played in 3 division games, twice against the Bengals and once against the Cleveland Browns. They defeated the Bengals once. They defeated the Browns once as well, but they split with Cincinnati. So right now, the Ravens hold that against them. The Ravens are undefeated in this division, while the Steelers are not. And next week's game for the Baltimore Ravens can give them even more of an advantage over the Steelers. They face the Cincinnati Bengals. Joe Flacco may be the starter. It may be Joe Burrow. Regardless, Lamar Jackson and the Ravens, they match up very well with the Cincinnati Bengals, who have struggled on the defensive end over the last 2 years. And we know what happened last year with Lamar Jackson and the Cincinnati Bengals. The Baltimore Ravens swept them last season with a healthy Joe Burrow. But after this game next week against the Cincinnati Bengals, it may be the biggest game of the year for the Ravens and the Steelers. They will face the Steelers at home. And it's very eerie how things are matching up right now. When you go back to last year, the Steelers, they had the lead in this division with Russell Wilson, but they went on a 5-game losing streak. Here comes Lamar Jackson. Here comes the Baltimore Ravens. They win this division. They host that playoff game. They run the Steelers off their field. Now, it's not going to be easy for the Baltimore Ravens. I'm not saying that. But when you look at how this team has played over the last 5 games, they're one of the best teams in the NFL. And I want to give Lamar Jackson a lot of credit before I get into Coach Harbaugh, and the same with Zachary Orr. Lamar Jackson is phenomenal. One of the best quarterbacks in the game. Bleacher Report came out with an article, and they basically voted, and they said that he was the most overrated quarterback in the NFL. I heavily disagree with that. Lamar Jackson is one of the best players in the game. His impact is felt every single time he steps on the field. And their losses this year, it wasn't on Lamar Jackson. You had the fumbles with Derrick Henry against the Buffalo Bills. They had that game won. When you're up by 2 or 3 possessions, let's run the football out with one of the best running backs in NFL history. He fumbles the football, and your defense let you down. Lamar Jackson against the Buffalo Bills was 14-19, 209 passing yards, 2 passing touchdowns. He had 1 rushing touchdown as well. The next week against the Cleveland Browns, Derrick Henry still dealing with fumbles here. But you won this matchup 41-17. Lamar Jackson 19-29, 225 passing yards, 4 passing touchdowns, 0 interceptions. And you have a lot of haters. They'll come out and they'll say, well, Lamar Jackson, he runs around a lot. He only had 13 rushing yards against the Cleveland Browns. If you pay attention to Lamar Jackson and some of the games of his career, some of his best games, he's not running in the open space. He's running outside the pocket. He's keeping his eyes down the field. He's making plays with his arm. He's one of the most accurate passers in the NFL, dating back to his 2nd year in this league. And he did deal with a hamstring injury this season. But this was a great win against the Browns. Against the Lions, once again, a very good game for Lamar Jackson. He did hold on to the football for a very long time. But players, they couldn't get open. They suffered from that defense with Kevin Shepard. A lot of press man coverage. He's trying to buy time outside the pocket. He's getting sacked constantly. 21-27, 288 passing yards, 3 passing touchdowns. He got sacked 7 times. And you had another fumble with Derrick Henry in this game. And I'm not saying that Lamar Jackson has played perfect in their losses this year. Against the Lions, like I mentioned, he held on to the football for a very long time. And we've seen that happen a lot over the last 2 to 3 weeks with Lamar Jackson. He needs to get the football out just a little bit quicker to Mark Andrews, and the same with Zay Flowers and Rashard Bateman. But against Kansas City, he goes down to hamstring injury. Before he went down, he did not look good in this game. He had the interception. He was 14-20, 147 passing yards. They put in Cooper Rush. And I came out and I said this about Coach Harbaugh. Why on earth are you putting Cooper Rush as your starting quarterback when Lamar Jackson goes down? We've seen Lamar Jackson deal with injuries before in his career. Who was the backup quarterback? Tyler Huntley. Tyler Huntley was able to come in. He was able to give you good moments. And Tyler Huntley, he doesn't have the same speed going downhill like Lamar Jackson, but he can run around. He can make plays with his legs. He has a similar archetype and playing style to Lamar Jackson. So it's not that big of a drop-off. And he can throw across the middle of the field. Cooper Rush, he's a scarecrow inside the pocket. You go from having this scrambling quarterback to just your prototypical quarterback who's going to get the football out quick. He can't buy time for the wide receivers down the field. It just didn't make sense. And Cooper Rush came in against Kansas City, had some okay moments, but at that point in time, the game was out of hand. You go against the Houston Texans, he was terrible. Horrible in that matchup. He had 3 interceptions in that game against the Texans. And against the Los Angeles Rams, he was terrible as well. But they go back to Tyler Huntley. Tyler Huntley comes in, not saying that he was a top 5 quarterback when he came in for the Ravens this year, but he gave you some juice against the Los Angeles Rams. He was 10 of 15, 68 passing yards. Did get sacked 4 times. But against the Bears, a lot of things changed here for the Ravens and their defense. They let Tyler Huntley be the starting quarterback. There's a lot of reports coming out this week that Lamar Jackson was going to possibly play against the Bears, but they went against it. They went with Tyler Huntley instead. Smart strategy by Coach Harbaugh, by the way. Make that team think that they're going to go against your star quarterback, and within 48 hours, we're going to roll in with our backup quarterback and Tyler Huntley. Just to mess with Ben Johnson and that coaching staff. But you won this game 30-16 versus a very talented Bears team, by the way. Tyler Huntley was 17 of 22, 186 passing yards, 1 passing touchdown. He got the job done. He did what the coach asked him to do. He kept the team on schedule. Hand the football off to Derrick Henry. You'll get it done. You're fine. And the reason why this was so important for the Ravens here, you cannot go down to 1-6. You had to go out there and you had to win this game against the Bears. This is basically a mini playoff game for the Baltimore Ravens. But it's how well your defense played in this matchup. The Ravens made a trade to bring in Gilman from the Chargers. They traded Oweh to the Chargers, bring in Gilman. Gilman, he's not a top 5 safety, but his impact is being felt with the Baltimore Ravens. You have Kyle Hamilton, one of the best defenders in this league. You have him playing single high safety to get down that communication on the back end of your defense, and that carried over from last season. If you guys remember last year, from weeks 1 through week 10, the secondary was terrible. So they pushed Kyle Hamilton further back. We need to get you away from the line of scrimmage. We need you to communicate with the cornerbacks on the back end. You're a smart player. You know this system. Help out the coach. Help out your defensive players as well. But Kyle Hamilton is most impactful when he's close to the line of scrimmage because of his range. So you bring in Gilman, very good cover safety. Kyle Hamilton, he's now able to go down close to the line of scrimmage. You can have him at the linebacking spot, inside the nickel. They've put this man at cornerback in his career. He's a versatile chess piece on the defensive end. He's a definition of a cornerstone. You can move him around. You can even blitz him in certain situations. But now that frees him up, he can be that joker on your defense now. The Baltimore Ravens have not allowed over 20 points in their last 5 games. That's impressive. For the first 6 games of this season, they're in the bottom of the league in terms of passing defense, bottom of the league in terms of rushing defense. Over the last 5 games, they're top 10 in both pass defense and rushing defense. That is what you love to see. Adjustments by Zachary Orr. And I had a lot of energy for Zachary Orr. I was saying that he was a terrible defensive coordinator. I didn't believe in him. I still have my gripes with Zachary Orr, but I will give this man a lot of credit. He's done a very good job of calling defensive plays over the last 5 games. I don't want to be that person to where a team is doing good and I don't talk about them and I only talk about the team when they're doing bad. I love to see them turn things around here, and Zachary Orr deserves a lot of credit for that. But that trade that the front office made to bring in Gilman was just brilliant. And you're not going to hear many people talk about that trade, but it has a huge impact with the Baltimore Ravens. Nate Wiggins, he's one of the best cornerbacks in the game. I know that we always talk about Sauce Gardner, Patrick Surtain, even J.C. Horn, the Carolina Panthers. Nate Wiggins, he clamped up Justin Jefferson with the Vikings. I know that J.J. McCarthy is not a very good starting quarterback in the NFL. But when you look back on film and you go back, you even look at the highlights in that game, Justin Jefferson stood no chance. Nate Wiggins constantly was in his face. There was nothing he could do. The press man coverage was phenomenal. So now you have a number one cornerback in Nate Wiggins. You have one of the best safeties in football in Cal Hamilton. Malachi Starks has been phenomenal in the last 5 games. That's why he's been a first-round pick to bring him in. He's a very versatile player to have. So you have 3 very good safeties now in the back end of your defense, Chidobe Awuzie and Marlon Humphrey. The talent has always been there with the Baltimore Ravens. It was just a scheme with Zachary Orr, similar to what they did with Mike McDonald. One of the most talented defenses in the NFL, one of the most talented teams. They just need that coaching to help them out. But the gap responsibility is better. Roquan Smith is still one of the best linebackers in football. Kyle Van hasn't had the most impactful season this season just yet, but he's still a very good player. And you're doing this without Matabuke, who has missed a lot of time this year dealing with a neck injury, and I hope that he will be able to play again one day in the NFL. Draymond Jones, he's a solid rotational pass rusher. You now have big pieces up front who are giving you different looks every single time you go out there on the field. And you have Mike Green, who's a rookie, has tremendous upside. He's made some splash plays this season. So defensively, they're there. Just continue to work with the schematics if you are Zachary Orr. But back to Lamar Jackson here. When he was able to fully return from this hamstring injury, he didn't miss a beat. He goes against the Miami Dolphins Monday Night Football game. And look, I get it. It's the Dolphins. Bad football team. You can't help who you play. You can only control what you can control. But Lamar Jackson goes out there. You think that he'll be rusty. Look normal. Phenomenal game. Rarely missed passes. Got outside the pocket when he wanted to. Had 4 passing touchdowns. Against the Minnesota Vikings, they didn't need him to go out there. They didn't need him to be Superman that day. Got another win against Minnesota. Against the Cleveland Browns last week, it was a tough game. He had 2 interceptions in that matchup, and you were down in that game. But this is the thing here with the Ravens. Every game doesn't need to be pretty. You're the Baltimore Ravens. It's the AFC North. You're able to come back in that matchup against the Browns. Your defense zoned in on a rookie quarterback, and Shedeur Sanders made him have some bad plays. In the offense, they stepped up. And the same in today's game with Lamar Jackson and company against the New York Jets. You're able to run the football, win with your special teams, win with your defense. It's the classic Ravens way. But seeing Derrick Henry not turn the football over, be that tank that we all know that he can be. Lamar Jackson making those big time plays when you need him to. The wide receiver stepping up like Zay Flowers, and the same with Mark Andrews at the tight end position. DeAndre Hopkins is a wild veteran to have. Not a bad player, more so of a number 3, number 4 target at this stage of his career. But it comes down to the defensive play calling with Zachary Orr and this offensive line play. And shout out to Todd Monken, by the way. That fake tush push play last week to Mark Andrews was just beautiful on the Cleveland Browns. They didn't see it coming. And here comes Mark Andrews downhill. I have a couple of concerns with the Baltimore Ravens, but we still have a lot of time left in the season. Right now, I can confidently say I have them winning the AFC North over the Steelers. The Steelers, they have injuries. They're just in a bad spot right now. Now, I'll make a separate video about the Steelers, but I love what the Ravens are doing. And no way am I saying that the Ravens are a Super Bowl contender, by the way. I'm just saying that they've turned everything completely around. But let me know in the comment section below, how do you feel about the Baltimore Ravens? If you're new to the channel, hit the subscribe button. If you like the video, hit the like button. Most importantly, I want each and every last one of you guys to stay safe, stay positive. Thanks for the video, guys. God bless. Peace.